Good morning guys, and welcome back to another video in my Discover Healthy Cooking playlist. Today I was thinking I would make gluten-free vegan bread for the first time, so this could be an absolute disaster, mind you, but hopefully it'll work out and everything will be good. So, I do have the recipe written down on this piece of paper here, just to follow along as I go. Basically, we're just going to mix together some dry ingredients and then wet ingredients and then the yeast separately, then combine it all, let it rise, put it in the oven, and then it's done, from what I have read. How hard can it be, right? This is probably going to be a disaster, but it'll be okay. So, I think, what are we doing first? Righto, so I'm going to get my hot water. And I'm just going to get 1 cup of hot water, and then I have a sachet of yeast, just your dry yeast. And then we need 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, which we're going to add together in this measuring jug. So before we add the yeast into the water and sugar, we're going to let the hot water cool down quite a bit because you sort of just want it warm. And at the moment it's too hot, but I wanted to add the sugar so that it like melted, not melted, what is that word? Where you like add sugar into something and it dissolves. Until the sugar dissolves. While that's cooling down, we're just going to mix up all of the dry ingredients. So for the dry ingredients as flour, we need 3 cups, but 3 cups of different flour. So we need 1 cup of buckwheat, 1 cup of cornflour, I don't know if you, cornflour, and another cup of tapioca flour or arrowroot. And then we'll be adding in a tablespoon of baking powder and 2.5 tablespoons of xanthan gum. Xanthan gum. I always say xanthan. Xanthan gum. Yeah, and then just like a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I need to get scissors. So now that we've got all of our dry ingredients, I just need something to mix them with. So just sort of mixing them together, making sure they're a bit more even. And now we're just going to mix all the wet ingredients together. So we need a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. We will need 3 flax eggs, which will be equivalent to 9 tablespoons of water and 3 tablespoons of flax meal. Make sure it's fine flax meal, not flax seeds, because flax seeds won't work. And then we need a 1/4 cup of vegan butter, which needs to be softened. So I'm going to chuck that in the microwave for about 20 seconds. I totally forgot the sugar and warm water has now cooled down. So we are now going to add the packet of yeast to it. My hair is a bit out of control today. So now we're just going to put the wet mixture, which is the flax seeds and the butter, into the dry mixture, which is all the different types of flours. Just going to tip that in there. And then we're going to mix that around. The yeast is just here, and we're just waiting for it to sort of foam up a little bit and do its thing. So we're just going to let that sit there for another couple of minutes or so. And while we're doing that, we're going to mix this around. This won't like become like a dough yet. We need to add the yeast mixture. But for now, just give it sort of a brief mix in. It kind of just looks chunky and crumbly, but apparently that's what it's meant to look like.
Look at how frothy it's getting. Look at the froth. It looks so fluffy. It reminds me of butterbeer from Harry Potter. I think it's just about ready to add in. I'm going to put the dry mix in my Kentworth with a dough hook, and then I'm just going to slowly add this in, although I think I'll mix it first.
So dough hook to start off with didn't quite work out because I need to mix it all in first and then use the dough hook. So I'm just sort of going to mix it with my spatula, and then I'm going to use the dough hook when it's a bit more mixed. Yeah, mixed. I might just change what mixer I have on, because I might have a mixer that'll work better than a dough hook. Yep, I think I'll do that. Get off my fingers. I think just like the original mixer might work well. I think it's just called the Kentworth original mixer attachment. I don't really know. Just this one with the K on it. Now that it's been generally mixed, not for the 7 minutes, because we actually have to mix it for 7 minutes. I am going to put the dough hook back on now that it's sort of a dough mixture, and I'm going to use the dough hook for 7 minutes. Now that the dough has been beaten for 7 minutes, I'm just going to get some vegan butter and just line the baking dish. It was actually my sister's idea, who wanted me to make bread. Well, not wanted me, she inspired me to make bread because she makes all of her own bread, and I thought that was pretty impressive because like who these days makes their own bread? Like practically no one. And it actually takes quite a bit of effort to make your own bread. And I thought I would give it a go, and I really like gluten-free. I prefer gluten-free over things with gluten in them. So we need to pop this mixture into here, and then we can let it rise. It's got to rise for about 40 minutes. That was really sticky. Stickier than I remember. Just gonna try and lay it out a little bit, but it is very sticky. Okay, and that's it there. Oh, it's sliding around a little bit. And we are going to put a cover on that and let it sit for 40 minutes. While that's rising for 40 minutes, I'm actually going to put the oven on to preheat it to 190 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. I don't know who watching this is going to be in Fahrenheit, but you never know. So it has been 40 minutes and voila! It's nice and big now. So I'm just going to be putting it in the oven on the 190 degrees for another 40 minutes and we'll see how that goes. So I'll pop it in the oven. I think I'll put a timer on because I have a habit of forgetting things. So I just got that out of the oven. It's very hot at the moment. I'm just going to put it on the cooling rack. It actually turned out pretty good. I can't wait to eat it. But we've got to wait till it's pretty cool before we cut it because that was really hot. That was not very smart. Anyway, we got to wait for that to cool before we cut it, otherwise it'll just sort of mush a bit. So that'll probably take a little while to cool off. But I'm so keen to eat it. It smells really good. That looks amazing. Oh, lovely. Well, that brings us to the end of our bread making endeavor today. I'd say it was pretty successful, but we need to taste it. I've just got out some butter and jam. Does anyone else just always feel the need to have jam on fresh bread? Takes me back to my childhood because my dad used to make us fresh bread. Not all the time, but as like a treat, he would make fresh bread and we would eat like the whole loaf in one sitting with some jam, and it was so good. So the true test will be if it takes, oh well, if you don't spill the jam everywhere, maybe we'll actually get somewhere. The true test will be the taste test. Then I have to get Mitch to taste it, but he likes everything, so sometimes he's not the best judge. He's a lover of all food. Alright, here goes. It tastes like wholemeal. Like wholemeal bread. No, but it's good. Yeah, it smells very wholemeal-like. I think it's because I used buckwheat flour. Instead of buckwheat, you can use, what was that other? Rice flour. But I used buckwheat instead. But that is really good. I would call this a great success. And I was expecting after cooking it, that it would actually, like, it would sink. But it hasn't, so that's good. It's very good. Munch, you gotta try this bread, it is so good. He's got his earphones on, headphones. He's got his headphones on, so Munch, you have to try this bread.
It's bread time.
What do you think of it? He's so much taller than me. He's probably not even in the frame. It's probably you have to like duck, like squat down, and that's it. There we go. Thank you, everybody. This was...
It's really good, by the way. I never give it verdict. But yeah, it's very tasty.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You and your squats.
Yeah, it's my squatting.
Well, anyway, thank you so much for being here today, guys. And if you like this bread recipe, just tell me in the comments. And give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more recipes and more fun things that I do in my life to try and be healthy and happy. And yeah, I think this bread could be improved, but I still think it's really good. But I still think it's really good. We better go before Mitch's legs turn to jelly. Excuse, this is my piece. You need to get your own piece of bread. Look, there's a whole loaf here. Anyway, we gotta go. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Please, could you film this bit for me?
What did for you?
Like I have no way to chicken wing. Take a wing, while begging God want him.
Did you pet yourself?
Maybe.
No! Are you recording me? How dare you record me making my own bread? Delete that! This really isn't that interesting. I'm just making bread. I'm making like the jam on the bread. I didn't make the bread. You made the bread. But I'm like just putting jam on it. So it's not that interesting. I'm not gonna eat my bread now.